Taoiseach, within days of Putin's bloody and inexcusable invasion of Ukraine, you specifically, along with other European leaders, were demanding that Putin and his regime should become outcasts in the international community, and you've argued for boycott, sanctions and divestment, effectively, of Putin's regime for his horrible crimes. And yet, you report you met the Israeli president and you continue with normal economic, political and diplomatic relations with the State of Israel, who now refuse a European parliamentary delegation entry to Palestinian territory, who recently have had the UN Special Rapporteur on the Middle East, Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International and B'Tselem all condemn the State of Israel for ongoing systematic crimes against humanity, for a siege against Gaza that has gone on for a decade now and that has brought the entirety of Gaza into, quote, a permanent humanitarian crisis. And yet, there is no call for sanctions, no call for boycott, no call for divestment, but just business as usual with the State of Israel. Could you please explain these extraordinary double standards? No sanction at all against Israel, even when the most respected international human rights and organisations in the world are saying there should be targeted sanctions. You resist. Please explain it, because the double standards are shocking, Taoiseach.
Again, Deputy Boyd Barrett has raised the issue. I think you've taken issue with the fact that I met the President of Israel. I don't believe it's a double that standard, and I don't. But I think what Putin's doing in Ukraine now is a bit much.
The suffering of Palestinians is less.
No, and I'm not saying that. But let's not try and have a moral equivalence. Like, you should just be.
There is a moral equivalence.
You should be unequivocal in your condemnation.
There is. I am.
Of what is the worst form of warfare I've ever witnessed on a relentless basis by Putin, bombing and levelling village after village,
have done that to Gaza
town
as well.
after town, and civilians after civilians.
No sanctions.
He's weaponised food. He has weaponised energy,
so
which is having global consequences.
What do you think the siege of Gaza is, except weaponising
and what
food?
I'm going to say to you, Deputy, is that the Irish effort in relation to Palestine has been very proactive down through the years. But you don't have the wherewithal to even acknowledge that. Because it's your way or the highway. Because you have a broader world view in terms of always trying to let the real, in my view, the shocking brutality of what's going on, to try and somehow make it equal to somebody else and so on like that. We have to deal with the Middle East situation. We have to deal with settlements. And we have to deal with other European Union colleagues and the United States and other countries to bring about a resolution to the Middle Eastern crisis, because we do need to bring about a resolution, and Ireland continues to support generously the situation in relation to
the Saudi regime.
Deputy,
support them.
Deputy